Now, first things first, a disclaimer. What you will see me doing here, and this applies for future videos as well, no matter the plugin or technique or whatever, this is how I do the things. It is not necessarily how it should be done, so keep that in mind. So I got a project here. This is a live session from Telefunken, which is a music library where you can find multi-tracks which will help you practice mixing. I really recommend you using it, and I will leave the link down below in the description. Now, as I said, this is a live session, so when I will play the lead vocal, you can hear the instruments in the background. But that's completely fine. Being a live session, we need to mix it with that in mind. We don't have to mix it, we don't have to make it sound like a studio recorded one. So, let me play you the lead vocal before and after the EQs that I've put.
Lady, Maybelline, baby, hearing from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies.
So see, it's probably just a slight difference, but this is just EQs. That's it. Okay, now as you can see, I decided to cut all the unused space in between the vocals, just so I can remove all the frequencies from there, which might be annoying or not. And as you could hear, there's like a blank space there, and you might say, oh, but there will be a difference. You will hear the difference, but when I will actually play it together with all the instruments,
Hey, babe, hearing from a mirror, but that her dukes are not the daisies.
so see, that's fine. Okay, now moving to all the plugins that I've put in. As I said, I'm going to show you only EQs here. This is a gate which helps me with the spaces as well, and this is a de-esser. Not really important for now. We will talk about this in other videos. Now, I have 3 EQs here. Bear in mind that when I mix a vocal between these 3 plugins, between these 3 EQs, I usually have maybe some compressors, maybe a de-esser or whatever, something like that. So this is not a vocal chain. So starting with the first EQ, this is a stock plugin from Studio One, which is fine. Stock plugins are fine. This is pretty much the first EQ that comes into the vocal chain. I usually, when I mix, this comes like the second or even the first plugin sometimes, if I don't use Autotune. So as you can see, I've used a low cut filter here, which helps me remove that low frequencies from the vocals. I don't like the low frequencies on vocals, and I like to reduce them as much as I can. Now, when you see this, bear in mind that this doesn't remove the frequencies completely. It will just reduce them as much as the plugin can do. Then I've got here a bell which will attack this area between 100 and 200, again to remove that muddiness, and another one here between 500 and 1000. Now when you approach the mid frequencies, you start to approach the vocal where the vocal sits the best. I found something here when I started to mix which annoyed me a bit, and I just reduced it just a bit. And I've added a high shelf here. I have pumped these high frequencies a bit more after 10K, just so I can start at the clariness. Now let's hear it without and with the plugin.
Deep inside, don't need advice, no. She paints up that face to make sure those blemishes hide.
So see, slight differences. You need to bear that in mind. You need to remember, slight differences are the best. Now, the second EQ, this is where I started to remove unwanted frequencies. I've used a pop filter because I can solo this, and I can pop the volume up on this certain frequency, and then I can start to go left and right to look for them, to listen to it like carefully, and then to see where it starts to like hurt my ear basically. So let me show you, for example. So I will turn it on. I will take this, I don't know, I will give it, so I'll leave it at this frequency, 313, and I will give it some gain, 30 decibels. And also when I do this, the Q goes to the maximum. You don't want to listen all of that. You will probably hurt yourself doing it. So let's listen to it.
Respect this.
So see, at this point, at 313 or around there, you can hear that muddiness that will basically scratch your ear. I don't really know what term to use. And then after that, I go to the Q a bit lower, and then I just reduce it a bit, just so I can take a bit from what's next to it, like what's near that frequency. And then I found something at 1000, a bit at 16k, and a 2000. I used another low cut filter, but this one goes to 43 hertz, just because when you use a second one, you don't really want to go up here to 80 or 90. It will sound it will cut too much of the low frequencies. Okay, and this one at 7500. In this case, it's just because I wanted to find those sibilances in the EQ and just to cut them off. That's it.
Beautiful lady, baby.
This also helps me. I like the fact that FabFilter will allow me to do this. Listen, watch this out.
Hearing from a mirror, but that Hadouks are not the daisies.
So see, what I like to do, I usually like to keep everything in a straight line as much as possible. And now moving to the next one, this is where I boosted some of the frequencies so I can pump up that clariness to make it sound crispier. So as you can see, I've used another high shelf at around 10,000 and a bell at around 3.6k, something like that.
Her shape and size don't need advice, no. She paints up that face to make sure those blemishes hide.
So see, it's not as complicated as you might think. It's basically about getting the voice to be as clean as possible and to sound as crispy as possible. At least for me, that's how I like to obtain the voice. Now, obviously, depending on the style, you might want to apply different styles of mixing and all. And when it comes to backing vocals, this one here, let me solo it for you, just so you can hear.
Coffee and a cigarette, color and rouge around your neck. Doll it up for disrespect, disrespect, disrespect.
So I have applied a similar treatment to it. The only thing that I've done was to use wider, just because I like to pull the backing vocals more to the stereo field and to leave the lead vocal in the middle there being a mono sound. Yeah. In terms of like the first EQ is quite similar, if not the same. And then here I have found another frequencies. I went with the low cut a bit higher up this time, the second low cut, just because the backing vocals, they need to leave more space for the lead vocal. They need to be like an addition to the lead vocal. They don't have to have a sound on their own, if that makes sense for you. Okay. And then here, as you can see, I have the high shelf. This time around, I have reduced the high frequencies, just so I can leave the lead vocal, occupy this space to be dominant in this space. But I have put a bit more gain to this area here, 3,300, something like that. And together with the wider. And that's pretty much it. That's how you can EQ, like to apply some simple EQs over some vocals. Obviously, as I said, this is just the beginning. We will get to do a complete vocal chain at some point, with EQs, compressors, saturation, reverbs, and whatever. We will get to do a complete song. Actually, we will work on it. Obviously, let me know in the comments if you liked it. I would love to hear your feedback, and a subscribe would be very helpful, and a share as well. We would really appreciate it. And until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye bye.